Hare Krishna. We're starting, we are doing 18th chapter, verse number 28. Till now, we notice that Krishna has again picked up the modes of nature. So Krishna has been talking about the modes of nature in this last section of the Bhagavad Gita. I showed you this. So yes, I showed you this. So we had the 14th chapter. Krishna was talking about some of the modes of nature there, effect of modes of nature, destination at death, and so forth. Then in 17th, he became more specific, food, sacrifice, austerity, charity, what we should do. And then in the last section, we have a much more subtle qualities: renunciation, knowledge, action, performer of action, understanding. So we are at 28. So we just wrapped up the section of performer of action. And from 30th onwards, will be understanding, determination, and happiness. So we'll hopefully cover these three parts, the remaining sections of the modes of nature. And it is interesting how Krishna, out of the 575 verses he speaks in Bhagavad Gita, out of them nearly 100 verses are about the modes of nature. That's an interesting thing, right? And the reason Krishna is, so it's nearly 15-20% of the verses that Krishna has spoken in Bhagavad Gita are related to the modes of nature. So although they are material, the modes of nature are material, the reason Krishna is speaking about them so much is because unless we know what environment we are living in, we'll not be able to transcend it. That's the reason Krishna is stressing so much on the modes of nature. And eventually Krishna has highlighted that again and again, that mode of goodness is the best, at least in this material mode. When we are in the mode of goodness, we maximize our chances to come out of this material world. When we are in a mode of goodness, our character, our health, relationship, achievements, our opportunity to awaken our spiritual consciousness, all that improves significantly. So that's why Krishna is stressing so much on the modes of nature. Krishna is the one who has designed this world. Variety didn't come by chance. It was designed by Krishna. And the way Krishna designs it is by the three modes, the three energies. Then he creates different varieties of species, environment, planets, mentality through these three modes. That's what Krishna does. Whatever modes we interact with externally, those modes are inculcated internally. And according to our modes, our free will is defined. Therefore, many times we want to do something, we still can't do it because our modes are covering us. So when we are in a mode of ignorance and passion, we are more bound. Whereas when we're in a mode of goodness, we have a higher probability of overcoming those modes. That's the reason why Krishna is talking so much about the modes of nature. Okay, we did the 28th one. Let's see the 29. Okay, so Krishna has finished the section of the worker and how the three modes of the worker. Now coming to the three, understanding and determination. Now Krishna is going to talk about understanding and determination. So he's talked about knowledge, what is karma, who's a doer. Now apart from them, when we are acting, there is buddhi and dhriti. That's what Krishna is talking about here. Buddhi and dhriti. Yeah. Dhriti and buddhi. So these two are components of our action. They are also involved. Buddhi is intelligence, right? Knowledge. So Gyan is often theoretical. Buddhi, intelligence, means to see something in the proper perspective. How should I act? What should I do? What should I not do? We will see a differentiation, and we'll compare Gyan and Buddhi. So Gyan is more in terms of perception. Buddhi is in more terms of action. And then there is Dhriti. Dhriti means determination. So once I understand this, how I should be acting, I should not only be, so that's the first step, that I decide, okay, this is the way I should be acting. But then I should not only be intelligent to decide how I should be acting, but after that I should be consistent. I should be persistent in my activity. For successful action in this world, we should have intelligence and determination. That's important. That's why Krishna is going to talk about intelligence and determination. Okay. Then we start by understanding. O son of Pitha, that understanding by which one knows what ought to be done, what not ought to be done, what is to be feared and what is not to be feared, what is binding and what is liberating, is in the mode of goodness. Yeah. Pravritti and nivritti. Krishna is bringing those two words. Pravrittim cha nivrittim cha karya kare bhaya bhaye. So pravritti means doing, nivritti means not doing. The same phrase came in the 16th chapter also. Pravrittim cha nivrittim cha janana vidvasura. Na shaucham na pichachara na satyam teshu vidyate. That the people who are demonic in nature, they don't know pravritti and nivritti. What is to be done, what is not to be done. They don't know that. Right? So these are more in terms of inclinations. And the other part Krishna is talking about, karya. What is to be done, what is not to be done. They are more in terms of action. They are more specific than pravritti and nivritti. Okay. And there is bhaya, abhaya. So fear and not fear. So there is healthy fear, like a child's fear of fire. And there is also unhealthy fear, like a child's fear of not wanting to go to school, or a teenager's fear of going to college, living away from parents, and so forth. So being unduly fearful or unduly non-fearful, that's recklessness. Both are undesirable. Right? As the English saying goes, fools rush where angels fear to tread. So when one understands these differences, the buddhi is in goodness. And how do we get this buddhi, goodness buddhi? A study of scripture. It makes our buddhi strong. And study, when we say study, means we study with a thought that I want to gain from it. Right? I want to. This has to be transformational study. That's what say. So, in the 14th chapter, there was a verse where it said that all the senses are illumined when knowledge is in the mode of goodness. There was a mention of a Navadware Pure Dehi. Like there are 9 doors and they all are illuminated. Right? So illumination is needed to be aware of the change. Right? So the senses are like the doorways that connect to the outside world. So yes, that's why it's there. So buddhi is in action. Right? So as I said. Right. So as we grow in bhakti, we will notice that then there is a stimulus for us. Something is instigating, something is making us anxious or nervous or something. And then we respond. There is a gap in between them. A stimulus and our response, there is a gap where we have our free will to operate. Right? Somebody says something to me, I can immediately snap back. And but then I have a time where I can think and decide whether I should reply back immediately or not. And for that purpose, our intelligence has to be active. It should be a ready, reliable source. If our intelligence were active, it would help us evaluate the stimulus before responding. But when we are gripped by unhealthy habits, our intelligence becomes dormant, lethargic. So even if it gets activated, it's too late. We will have already succumbed to the default action. That is why intelligence has to be active whole time. And intelligence becomes active by reading the scriptures and applying the principles of that scripture in our lives. And that's where Srimad Bhagavatam comes in. Srimad Bhagavatam addresses every single psychological condition that we go through, every one of them. Yeah. You're angry, what should you do? If somebody comes and advises you, Prithu Maharaj, Brahma comes in, is it Brahma? Or Sanluman, one of them, comes and advises, hey, don't do that. Doesn't suit you. And same with Dhruv Maharaj. When he was angry, he was killing all the yakshas because they killed his brother. Okay. What to do when only 7 days are left in my life? Parikshit Maharaj. He tells us right away, okay, 7 days left, leave everything, go understand, ask what is your main purpose in life. So, yeah, all these are there. So yeah, so there's everything in the Bhagavad. That okay, what is to be done in any particular psychological condition. So all these scriptures, they make us intelligent. They make our intelligence active. So that's why intelligence is important. O son of Pritha, that understanding which cannot distinguish between religion and religion, between action that should be done and action that should not be done, is in the mode of passion. Right? One who does not know what is dharma and adharma is in passion. Yeah. Sometimes, in India, there is a saying about Vibhishan. They say "Ghar ka bedi lanka dhai," like a family member becomes the reason of the family's downfall. So Vibhishan is sometimes called the betrayer, but actually Vibhishan was never the betrayer. Ravan was a betrayer because he betrayed virtue. Right? We need a proper frame of reference to understand what is who is what. So when we don't understand that, then we are in the mode of passion. But Vibhishan was never a betrayer. He favored the dharma, even if it meant to go against his own family. So he's not the one who's the betrayer. So in the mode of passion, knowledge is there. Just 1 second. Sorry, it's raining heavily and my windows are open. I'm just checking if it's rain coming in. Yes, so that's the difference between knowledge and dharma and adharma. The person should know that. So that's in the mode of passion if one cannot distinguish. And there are different types of irreligion. It can be that sometimes religion, a man creates somebody. It's like it's paradharma. It becomes paradharma. It's not the religion that Krishna has given us, God has given us, right? Somebody who's falsely proud of himself and he opposes the Vedas, principles of Vedas. He can set up some dharma. There are so many of such big gurus out there. Right? Somebody can trick people by the jugglery of his or her words. That's called chala dharma. So there are different types of adharma. So all that comes under the irreligion section. So that's what religion is. Okay. So in mode of goodness, we saw that a person can distinguish between what is right and wrong. In mode of passion, the person cannot distinguish. And now in the mode of ignorance, the person understanding which considers irreligion to be religion and religion to be religion, under the spell of illusion and darkness, and strives always in the wrong direction. Upartha is in the mode of ignorance. So Prabhupada is telling us intelligence in the mode of ignorance is always working the opposite of the way it should. So goodness, working in the positive way, passion, don't know which way is the right one, ignorance, working in the negative way. This is completely opposite of goodness. Adharma to be dharma. That's what people think. For example, some people consider God to be an ordinary person and an ordinary person to be God. So that's called a mode of ignorance, right? Uh, some people may be in ignorance, but they might have some characteristics like of goodness. For example, somebody might be a chain smoker, but that person might be an excellent researcher. So, so all these qualities are there. So uh, one aspect of the person can be influenced by one mode and the other with another mode. Some having goodness lifestyle, but activity in ignorance. So uh, even devotees are not free from the modes of these modes. We get freed by our constant practice, by a steady practice over time. So that's the mode of ignorance. Okay. Now we'll start determination. O son of Pritha, that determination which is unbreakable, which is sustained with steadfastness by yoga practice, and which thus controls the activities of the mind, life, and senses, is determination in the mode of goodness. So this is what's Krishna saying? Yogena avyabhicharinya. That's a nice word. Yogena, by yoga practice, avyabhicharinya, without any break. So uninterrupted. But it might not be transcendental. Keep in mind, even though it's goodness, but it's not transcendental necessarily. Uh, so, and how is determination attained? Through deliberation and devotion. Evam buddhe param buddhva samsthabhyam atmanam atmanam jahi shatru mahabaho kama rupa durashadam. So, by knowledge, by deliberation, and by devotion, we can attain determination. And the most important thing is that we have to change the questions we are asking ourselves. Sometimes we get into a mentality of a victim by asking the question, why? Why is this happening to me? Or why am I suffering? And the problem seems very unbearable. But the more empowering question is, okay, how can I best respond to this situation? What is the lesson for me in this situation? How can I best serve in this situation? When we think it from that perspective, our emotional, we tap into our emotional energy which was blocked due to resentment, lamentation, hopelessness, and so forth. Helplessness, not hope, helplessness, and so forth. Right? So that energy opens up. So when we deliberate, when we ask the right questions, then determination comes in. Also, we get determination by focusing on a higher purpose. Krishna says this in the 6th chapter, Sane Sane Upramed Buddhe Dhriti Dhritaya. That we use our intelligence by focusing the mind on higher purpose. So we can have the right vision for dealing with the mind. So that's an important aspect. So then dhriti in the mode of passion. But that determination by which one holds fast to fruitive results in religion, economic development, and sense gratification is of the nature of passion, O Arjuna. So for the sake of dharma, artha, and kama, dharma, kama, arthan, dharma, artha, and kama. So not everything passionate is bad. Okay. The foundation of our life should be character. That is dharma. So if our foundation of life That's why when children are sent to Gurukul in Brahmachari ashram, because that clarifies what their dharma is. Then when they go out into the real world and they do artha, then the artha is founded on proper character and principle. Then the artha reaches its full potential. And then when they do karma, then the karma is also not in a mode of ignorance. So some people feel vacuum in their heart even when they are wealthy. They have everything in there because they have not pursued karma with the proper dharma. It's not founded on something deeper. Right? And moksha, there is dharma, artha, kama, moksha, right? For moksha means that all of this, all what we do, the dharma, artha, kama, will help us realize that there is more, there is beyond something beyond this body. Therefore, the brahmachari took sannyasi concept like this. Bhagavad Gita doesn't say we have to turn away from material, but how to pursue material that it leads to spiritual elevation side by side. That's what Bhagavad Gita is about. We all live with the mind, and if we trace the problems to our root cause, it comes to the mind. Therefore, we have to, learn to control that mind and, identifying the mind. The Avanti Brahman in the 11th canto, he says this very clearly again and again, that nobody is responsible for my distress or happiness. No demigods, people, body, anything. No, it's only my mind. Right? He keeps bringing that out. So life is an interplay of fate and free will. Okay. But that determination by which one holds fast to fruitive results in religion, economic development, and sense gratification is of the nature of passion for Arjuna. Yeah. So the word is, oh no, did we do, I think we did passion? Yeah, we did passion, sorry, we did this. And then ignorance. And that determination which cannot go beyond dreaming, fearfulness, lamentation, moroseness, and illusion. Such unintelligent determination, O son of Pritha, is in the mode of darkness. So Krishna using the word swapnam. Swapnam. Prabhupada is saying this is dreaming. But then Prabhupada explains that dream means too much sleep. So Prabhupada is highlighting that it's not that the dreaming part is. So dreaming is, as Prabhupada is saying, dreaming is always present, either in either of those modes. Dreaming is a natural occurrence. So, but then, so here dreaming means more in excessive sleep. Excessive sleep. In the 6th chapter, you remember Krishna saying that one who sleeps more or less is not a yogi. Right? Nachati swapna shilasya jagato naiva charmi. Right? And then he says yuktahara viharasya in the 6th, 17th, in the later 6th chapter. So our body machine has to be taken care of as service to Krishna. But when taking care of bodily machine, it should not become the end in itself. It has to be a tool for, it should not become a tool for sense gratification. Then it becomes a problem. Right? We don't have to feel guilty of taking care of bodily needs. But if it distracts us from Krishna, then it is a problem. There's a differentiation. Please understand that part. That, there was this, when once Mahaprabhu was dancing in Srivasangam, he suddenly stopped and said, "Oh, I don't get the feel today. There is somebody in here who